Warriors, you are in for a treat today. We bring back to the Warriors two of my favorites. I kid you not. We have author, investigative journalist, I will call him Brian Joseph, joining us. Angela Williams, subject matter, human trafficking. I'm just going to say it, Angela, survivor, and such a strong advocate, and works so hard to bring us the realities of what's going on the landscape of this sex trafficking we're talking about in America. I throw out a warning to everybody. We talk about truth, reality on the Warriors. So buckle up. We're going to jump right in. You can also, we're going to be talking today, as far as the landscape, it is very well laid out in the new book, Vegas Concierge, Sex Trafficking, Hip Hop, and Corruption in America, that Brian worked on with Angela. And I will have all of the information, how you purchase the book, and all of Angela's information and Brian's information in the body of the video. But I want to get right to, I'm not going to list off everything. I want to get right to the conversation. VegasConciergeBook.com is the website. So let us jump right in, and let me welcome both of you back, Brian and Angela, to the Warriors.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Of course, please. Thank you for joining me and taking the time. You know, I want to talk about, let's start with really how this collaboration came about. Angela, do you want to kick us off with how it started? Let's go there, because people will want to know, like, how did you two get together?
I was, yeah, no problem. I was contacted by one of my amazing attorneys, Jason, out of Reno, Nevada. And we were working on a civil case against the state of Nevada to fight for my 13th Amendment. And hopefully, we had hopes to abolish legal prostitution in Nevada, and also include civil suits against my ex-trafficker. I won the part against my trafficker, but not the state. And through that process, or actually like in the beginning of all of that, I was contacted about my ex-trafficker, and he said a journalist wanted to talk to me about a potential article about my ex-trafficker. And I said, sure, why not? I ended up talking to Brian for like hours upon hours, and we just scheduled meetings every Wednesday, and then he proposed the book option, telling my story, and I was all in.
And you're like, yeah, Brian, I'm doing it right now. Now, you know, Angela, I have to say, isn't Brian, he's such a lovely person. He's very, even the first time I met him, like, I trusted him.
He's so,
I'm very serious about this. Before we let him talk, let's talk about him behind his back, even though he's,
yeah.
No, he's a very, like, trustworthy, you know, my gut told me right away, like, this is a good person that we can talk to, and he will understand. What was your impression?
He was so compassionate, and he was so easy to talk to. I've spoke to so many journalists, and some of them just want to, like, you know, take and exploit, like re-exploit my story and make me go through like all the like grimy stuff about my story and not even ask what brought me to that place. And he was just so understanding, and not only understanding, but like genuinely eager to learn off of you know, our communications. So it was awesome. Like it was awesome. It was therapeutic, and it was also liberating because I trusted him to deliver the story so precisely and break it down exactly the way I wanted.
Excellent. Now, Brian, did you have any idea when you started this? Now, don't say you researched. I'm just going to say, before you did your research, like about sex trafficking in America, Vegas, New York, like, did you really have an idea? Because I didn't when I started this work, how prevalent it is and how it's escalating and how horrible it is. I had no idea. What was your impression? Don't tell us about when you researched, like before that.
You know, Pardon me. You know, I knew it was going to be a descent into a really dark world. I knew that much. I didn't know the extent of it, or what the details would look like, or just how heart wrenching it would all be. At the same time, I didn't know about the rays of light that I would also encounter. People like Angela and like our third colleague in this endeavor, Don Hoyer. It was those people and those rays of light that helped me continue on through a very dark path to completing this project.
Angela, I want to ask you, you've been going around, you've been talking about the book, Vegas Concierge. Is that really therapeutic for you? Does it, I don't like that word, but I'll use it, triggering?
Definitely.
How are you dealing with all of this?
I'm dealing with it pretty well. It was definitely more therapeutic and liberating. There were parts of the way Brian wrote the book that are so descriptive, and he described things in words exactly the way I wanted to deliver. So sometimes, like when we do like readings and stuff, sometimes I get the heebie-jeebies here and there, but I'm pretty healed past that point. So I like probably walk away from the situation like, damn, how did I get through that?
Right. Right. Brian, what you've been going around, very successful, by the way, Vegas Concierge. What's the reception been to the book? Are people horrified? They want to know more? Like what are they doing when they hear these stories and they see this, hear about this journey?
Well, I would say overwhelmingly, people are very positive about the book for a number of reasons. I think the first is that they feel very drawn into the topic in a way that, pardon me, it's engaging with them in a way that maybe other depictions of trafficking haven't engaged with them, and so that's very gratifying to hear. At the same time, I'm also hearing that from a lot of people that while they find the book very not, I wouldn't use the word enjoyable, but engaging and compelling, they also find it very difficult to stick with it for long periods of time. And so a number of people that I'm close with have told me, gosh, I really am learning a lot from this book, but I really have to bite it off in small chunks in order to take it in. And I find that to be emblematic of the difficulty of this topic, but also emblematic of the fact that Angela and I, excuse me, and Don did a good job of really showing what this story and what this issue is really truly about, because this is a difficult topic and this is one that I think people do struggle with, but I think we presented it in such a way that people can first of all understand it, and then two, come across or come away with the appropriate level of compassion and understanding that we need in the society in order to start making some changes.
Yeah. And Angela, how on your end, because you're still connected to the trafficking community, I know you work on a variety of topics and with different people, survivors, victims. How is it for you on your end with the reception of the book?
I fight trafficking, so when I'm, out in the paint, I usually don't bring the book with me because I just don't want to use that time that I need to focus on whatever it is I need to focus on, to try to sell the book, because the book's gonna sell itself. But I try not to mix it. But it's cool, like whenever I can, like with like survivor leaders or anti-trafficking orgs or people that just might ask me more about the subject, to have it as an option for them to learn and learn from, and hopefully put it down and want to fight.
So in addition to that though, Angela, has anybody said to you, you shouldn't have been a part of this. You shouldn't be telling our secrets. You shouldn't be using
Oh,
names, or because
mm,
people tell me, and all I am is a warrior advocating. I want to empower, I want to empower Brian. I want to raise awareness. And they're like, why do you talk about that, Lynn? Because it's dangerous. I'm like, well, I'm not in any danger. I'm just fine. But have you had any reactions like that?
my traffickers were prosecuted, so I figured, you know, that they can't be convicted twice for trafficking. So everything else, I just was willing to deliver in 100% transparent form, and that was the only way I could share my story. Is if I could break down the stages of grooming, the reactions that I had to trauma, and what worked, in recovery. So if I couldn't do that, then and be able to be 100% authentic, then I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
community, sorry to interrupt you. The
Oh, no.
community, um, the like subculture that I used to be a part of, um, I'm so like I can't relate anymore to just any of the behind the scenes whispers or gossip. So I don't really care.
I like that answer. You stay over in your new lane kind of
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
don't let it invade your brain space, as I like to say.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I mean, like I wouldn't even recognize the person I was 8 years ago. Um, so yeah, I just stay in my lane.
Good. You're doing such terrific work. Now, Brian, there's so much with this subject matter, right? How about a part two? Do you talk about that? Because the story kind of is ongoing. Have you two discussed anything like that going into that sort of after this landscape of what might be for healing of trauma? Because Angela is such a strong advocate, because I see everything, I hear everything. And you two are doing terrific work. And Angela is certainly just being such a strong warrior about all. So I see like a part two to continue the journey. Do you two even discuss that, or you need to take a little relaxation between this?
Little break.
Well, I think it's important I mean, we've worked very hard. I think it's important for all of us to relax a little bit. But yes, I mean, to answer your question directly, I mean, the notion of doing something more is certainly on my mind. I think the important thing is to figure out, what is the best way to do that, and there's a number of potential options that could be. There have been some discussions about a documentary, some discussions about maybe even a Hollywood movie, some sort of true crime podcast, or maybe something else. But I mean, I think it would certainly be in my interest, or I should say, not in my interest, but I'm very much interested in continuing, to see what else we could do to further the conversation. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I just know that this book, Vegas Concierge, and both of you, like it has legs, and with your third partner as well, we have to include him, that it has to be an ongoing story, right? Because the whole thing with all of this, in my opinion, sex trafficking, human trafficking, whatever everybody wants to call it, is I'm so afraid because it is dark and ugly, right? Like we constantly have to be in the public's face. The public is overwhelmed with so many other issues, right? Just surviving and paying bills and families. We cannot let this go for a minute. This is the way I think about this because,
Mhm.
people have the attention span of a gnat. And if something's dark,
Yes.
no, it's true. I actually
Like,
stole that
hey,
from my
we're
husband.
still here, and
Yeah,
there's still a problem.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Angela. It's like people forget quickly or they shut the door quickly on subjects they don't want to hear about, right? And pretend it doesn't happen. But we know we work heavily at the Warriors with all kinds of focus groups and stats and all that stuff. Like it's only escalating, right? So I'm very actually angry about that because we need solutions now. We need you, Angela, to be, you know what I want to see you, Angela? Maybe you're doing it, but you'll tell me. I need to see you going into schools. I kid you not. And I'm talking about sixth,
Middle
seventh, eighth
school.
grade.
Yeah,
We have
middle
to
school.
start early. Sixth,
I'm a
seventh,
strong
eighth grade.
advocate for that, and it's definitely in my plans to tap into schools in Texas as early as middle school, and definitely advocate for more arts, crafts, and trades in high school for underserved communities.
You're singing my language. I don't know if that's the phrase, but you're talking my talk, you're walking my walk. Because we need, we used to go in high schools and talk about these things. It's too late by then. I actually think
Yeah.
we need to age appropriate, start like in kindergarten about the issues, age appropriate, but schools don't let you in then. But sixth, seventh, eighth is what we're working on with the Warriors. And also, I have to say it, Angela, I mean, you resonate with the public, right? We need something to make them wake up. So being a survivor, Angela, I always throw that word around, survivor, victim. I never know what to say. Some people like it. Some people don't like it. Is it
I
okay?
don't mind.
I remember you said you don't mind, but I've had people, I don't like it. I don't know what to call people, but I remember you said you didn't mind, right? We need your voice out there, going through this and how you've survived and thrived and reclaimed your life, right? Brian, what have you learned in doing this book? I mean, you have a family. Give me your thoughts on that end if you want to weigh in on that.
I mean, in short, I think what I've learned is much of what you just said, which is that the work of addressing this issue of fixing issues like this never ends, and that it's important to remain committed and to keep your eyes open, to be dedicated to learning more. It'd be very easy, I think, to sit back and say, "Oh gosh, I've spent a long time researching this. Excuse me, I know everything about this issue," and I think that's just the wrong way to do it. It's been fascinating for me during the promotion process to talk to other people and to hear other people's thoughts about this issue, or other examples of what situations of trafficking might look like. And it's very humbling to realize that there's still so much more to learn and uncover and to understand, both from the perspective of victims and survivors and people who are engaged in this issue, but also from the perspective of people who are still learning about this issue and might not quite grasp it yet, and what is necessary to have an effective conversation around making change.
Yeah, I definitely think many more people, the public, they're more awake, right? More people talk about it. There are lots of good organizations working on things. Angela, what do you want the public to know as far as what they really should know about this? Like, if you had to put this in a couple of sentences or something, because we need them, because our warriors hashtag is community creates change. We need them to come on and be warriors with us, help us in their homes and communities, spread the word. Let's be realistic, Brian and Angela. We're not going to stop sex trafficking. We're not, right? It's just too big of a business. Okay. But we can.
Well, if I may interrupt.
Yes, go ahead.
I don't want to accept that. I want to. You're absolutely right. It's going to be very difficult. But I want to live in a world.
Brian, I used to not say that, Brian, but I do a lot of work with DEA, and so I'm going to be very realistic. Like,
no.
Okay, go ahead, Brian. Now go ahead. What's your point?
No, you are. But I would just say, I don't want to live in a world where we accept that it's, that there's some amount of this activity going on. I want to live in a world where we are committed to eradicating something this awful.
That's our mission at the Warriors, ending it. But I've recently been realistic, because Brian and Angela, I used to be very careful about people, like not scaring them or something. I actually think now we have to scare them.
Yeah.
This is an American crisis. They need the reality, but here's what they need. When I say let's be real, because you both know, as we're sitting here, people are being trafficked, right?
So prevention is key, because once
Prevention and
somebody's
intervention,
trafficked,
right?
prevention is key, and early prevention, early education is so important. Exploitation, there's so many different forms of sexual exploitation, and it, you might think that your kids are safe from it, but there are criminals targeting like underserved communities, all the way to suburban kids, or even going on to online chats and stuff, and stalking kids that go to private schools. And there's just so much. So to educate your kid and give them online safety tips, and monitor their social medias, and watch and be mindful of what you expose your child to, so you can maintain their innocence but still let them know that there's danger lurking around, is so important. Like, to avoid those uncomfortable conversations, you're quadrupling the risk of your child being the one that's taken from you, your child being the one that's exploited or broken. And no child deserves that. That's why it's so important for us to come together and like let everyone know what's really going on out there.
That's reality. No child is for sale. Like
Once
that.
they're
Yeah.
once the child is broken, they will never be the same. The PTSD that resonates with trafficking is a lot of a war veteran. And it's just unfortunate that we have this space, but it's important that we use it to educate other parents and youth and people that are being exploited, that might not know they're being exploited, so we can start cleaning things up, because it's running rampant. Like, everywhere you see prostitution, in street corners, in people's front porch, at 5-star restaurant bars, at dive bars, traffickers stalking suburban high schools. There's stuff going on all around. Sextortion, people from Nigeria targeting your suburban children, girls like that are like star volleyball players, boys that are star football players, or just smart in school, that they have lots of social media followings. There's people that aren't even the people that you think that are communicating with your child, posing as a child, might not even be that. It might be a sexual predator. So there's so much that we have to be responsible to protect our children from.
Yeah, there is, first of all, Angela and Brian, I think we have to get over this embarrassing, like with kids, conversations. A lot of parents will always say to me, "Oh, I don't want to bring that up and open a can of worms." I'm like, what? They're seeing things on their phone every day, or they may not even be looking for something, but because of the dangerous algorithms, which we know because we have plenty of studies that big tech feeds our kids, right? They will be looking up, the word apple or a story about an apple, and they'll end up on a porn site. It's not even their fault. It's fed to them, right? So I think we have to really get over this embarrassment, and we have to talk to our kids, because I believe they're seeing things and hearing things anyway. So let the information come from us. I actually think the parents, or caregivers, whatever that family unit is, they need the education, because I'm also tired of, I don't know if both of you hear this, I didn't grow up with the internet. Well, I didn't grow up with the internet either, but that's where it's all happening. Brian, would you weigh in on this? Would you agree with this?
Totally. I mean, I would much rather have an uncomfortable conversation with my daughter than see her be exploited. So yes, I mean, I think it's vital that we get out of our own way and start having these conversations candidly with our children and not being afraid to have these conversations. Of course, we in American society can get a little turned in on ourselves when it comes to topics of sex. For the good of our children and for the good of anyone out there being exploited, we need to get over those concerns and start having candid conversations about the realities of what's going on here.
I'm totally digressing here with both of you. I don't understand in America why Americans are like they laugh about sex, or they're embarrassed about sex, or they don't want to talk about sex. I mean, Europeans are talking about it, or just very matter of fact about no, but like a matter of fact about things, right? And I'm not understanding when Angela, you pointed out, we are surrounded, whether it's entertainment, whether it's the music business, all the streaming shows, so much sexual content and headlines every day. I know it's the internet. We have teachers and coaches and figureheads in churches and synagogues abusing kids, and it's all around us. So does anybody understand why everybody's embarrassed to talk about sex? I don't. I really don't. Anybody? Anything?
I think in some cultures, it's more of a personal shame, and or like you said, there were things that happen in Catholic churches, and and stuff. So some parents might have been exploited or taken advantage of in some type of way and haven't came to that place. So they live with their secrets and they don't want to talk about stuff like that. It might be triggering for them. There's just so many reasons. I don't know. Some people's culture, it's just taboo to talk about stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know. And then there's the opposite, where people are overexposing to their children or allowing their child, on YouTube and TikTok without filters and monitoring their children. So
I think we as a society are very confused about how to engage with this topic, sexuality in general, and Angela is exactly right. I mean, we oscillate between being afraid to talk about it at all to overexposure in popular culture or social media. I agree with you, Lynn. It would be much healthier for us to get over ourselves or to get over whatever this obstacle is and to just engage with it in a forthright, candid manner.
I mean, I really don't understand it since we're around so much sexual stuff. The kids are exposed to it. I mean, here in New York City, I've seen girls, lifting their tops up on the street, high school age, middle age, screaming out, all kind. The kids are seeing it. So let us be the leaders, not these strangers on the internet. Whatever. I want to go back, Angela. You brought up something very important. I keep talking about almost every day. I'm glad you reminded me. Nigeria. It's a basis. It's like one of their number one businesses now. They actually have YouTube videos on how to do sextortion. Yep. And they just have warehouses where they're sitting on devices targeting our American teens, right? And so something like that, people don't believe me when I tell them, yes, no. This is what's happening. And
there
kids
are people in Nigeria that are targeting popular high school kids.
Yes.
And they will go to this child's social media, Facebook page or Instagram page, and follow everyone that they're following. Build a page to have comments and whatever, and start messaging people saying, hey, we have mutual followers. We should be friends in real life. What's your number? And next thing you know, they're, like coercing, children out of child sexual abuse material, nude photographs of a child. And then they manipulate them to, send, thousands of dollars from their parents' fund, from their college fund, or whatever the case may be. And, ultimately attempt to get them to commit suicide.
right? Because most kids don't have access to thousands of dollars to send anybody. And so they ultimately harm themselves, right? And I'm going around a few algorithms here, both of you. They, instead of going to their parents, you know, because they're so embarrassed, right? They're afraid of the parents. They'd rather harm themselves with a stranger, right? Because some stranger's telling them to do this, than go to their parents. That's the part I don't. We have to open it up and really form these
Open those doors to where your
partnerships,
child,
right? We have to have
no matter
partnerships with parents. No,
what
like,
happens, you can trust me, and I'm the person
yes,
you should trust the most. And that's why awareness and being that person to let them know that this bad stuff happens will build more trust with your child when they're coming across those situations or conversations even of those situations, because their parents didn't lie to them.
you know, I want to ask you, Brian, do you are you aware we have some different devices like the Bark uh phone? Are you aware of any? It looks like an iPhone, but it will alert the parents like if there's nude images or inappropriate dialogue. We have something, it looks just like an iPhone. But it's a monitoring. I don't like the word monitoring, but that's basically what it is for a small fee. Then there's companies like Gabb.com. They you can just do
True
text.
me.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, I think these are great options. I'm just throwing this at both of you. Again, giving some guardrails. We have to do something to start more protection of kids and helping the parents. Like, why is the burden always on kids and parents, you know, caregivers to do all this? We're letting these predators rule the roost, right? These traffickers. You know, legislation, that's a whole nother program we work on constantly at the Warriors. You know, the red tape, it takes forever. Do you two, Angela, what, give me your thoughts. Well, let me start with Brian. Brian, because, you know, do you like devices like that, or you don't want to talk about it, or what?
No, absolutely. I mean, I have a,
As an
I have a
investigative
child.
journalist.
I have a child, of course, myself, and we, we run into those issues all the time about how to, give her the freedom to explore, the internet, while at the same time, us feeling safe that she is protected. And so I think, there is a tremendous need in our society today for products, whether they be physical phones or software of some kind, excuse me, that serve the roles that you're talking about, that provide the ability to give our children some leash to explore the world, while also allowing us to have some oversight and have some ability to see what they're engaging with. The difficulty, as I understand it, is that the logarithms that you're talking about can be so hard to make sense of. I don't know. I'm just diving into realms that I don't quite have the words to describe. Basically, technology is sort of moving so rapidly, and is moving out in front of us so much that what it's showing us, we really don't even understand how it works. And so it can be very intimidating as a parent to try and manage that, because we just don't understand how the technology all fits together. And so when you talk about products that are out there that can help me as a parent navigate that, my ears perk up and I become quite interested, because I'm actively looking for those things right now.
Great, because we have to also, every time we talk about all these issues, we also have to, I always want to provide like resources to let people know there are some things out there to help you. And most people, when I bring these things up, they know nothing about it, right? It's not their fault. I'm not judging. I'm just saying they don't know, right? Angela, I want to ask you what kind, and both of you actually, so both of you, please weigh in on this. What kind of people are showing up for any, the book events? What, I'm very curious. Are you getting a good mix? I'm always
Yeah,
about like focus groups, like who's doing what kind of thing.
it just depends from city to city, mainly parents and anti-trafficking community, vice officers, you know, law enforcement agencies like all across the country. And yeah,
So everybody, different
everybody,
people.
yeah.
Brian, what are you seeing?
I mean, I agree absolutely with Angela's description. I'm very gratified when we have people at our events that are maybe not as familiar with this topic, and that come with some genuine questions, you know, as they're trying to make sense of this issue and how it fits into their own lives and their own ways that they see society. And so I'm very gratified when people like that are able to come and engage with this topic and maybe learn something that they didn't know anything about. My
Brian
hope
had a
going
party with
forward.
like nothing but politicians in California.
Did
There
they
were like
understand?
mayors, former congresswomen and congressmen and former senators and like current senators. It was like all politicians of both parties.
Okay, but did they
Yes,
understand? Were you there like about trafficking? Did they understand? Because I find
we
a lot of them turn it off. They don't want to talk about it.
I'd like to think that they did understand that particular event came about because I did used to work as a legislative reporter in Sacramento, California, and so I have some contacts in that world. And in that particular event, yes, I did find that the politicians, excuse me, gosh,
Poor
generally,
Brian, I'm torturing you because I know you've been sick and
Oh,
yeah,
take a
I
sip of water.
apologize. It's
Don't
awful how long it's
apologize.
taking. It's taking
I
how
feel
long for me to
bad.
recover.
I'm the mung. It's getting to you. Let me ask you something. In Sacramento, because she's doing terrific work. Shannon Grove, was she part of this?
She was. Oh, she didn't come to that event, but she
She's doing
uh,
terrific trafficking and child safety and all kinds of things like that. Okay, so good. That's a good reception. Angela, finish us up right now. What do you want parents to know? You're a mom. I'm going to mention that. Um, well, what are you gonna say to her when she gets a little older and obviously she can find anything she wants, basically, unless you lock her away, on a computer, right? Or friends of hers might say something to her. Like, how are you gonna deal with that? Or maybe that's too deep. Maybe we shouldn't go there. Like,
I mean, my daughter's like an advocate baby. She thinks my job is cool.
okay, good.
I will be starting an advocacy program within the Harris County Sheriff's Department, Precinct 7. And that's going to be fun. But she's gone with me to like the PD, or she goes with me, when I have to like do tedious things and errands, and she doesn't mind. Everyone, and in those rides and talks, I kind of like, even to a 5-year-old, let her know like that the world is dangerous and what mommy's job is. So I think she'll, be fine on that. Having a 5-year-old and watching her grow in today's modern progressive world scares me. And I fight trafficking. I see it all and I hear it all. I read about things and it scares the shit out of me. When I was being trafficked as a teen, there was a paradigm shift in human trafficking where it went from the streets to the internet, and it just spread like like coronavirus,
Right.
like a parasite. And to think that we're going through another paradigm shift with AI technology and all
Yes.
the technology that's growing, I'm feeling like everyone on board has to become like tech advanced and understand the battles that we will be facing and what our children are going to be exposed to and how we can filter it. And just being a mom to a daughter, you know putting all the child filters on their social medias, and reminding them that their body is sacred, and reminding them that they have to be humble and more reserved with their sexual identity as they grow. is really important. Just giving your kid a little extra attention, you know, when the world is so busy, is really important. And getting those hobbies and sports and you know, just things to keep their mind off of idle time and YouTube is important. So I don't know. That's my
You
answer.
do know, and your daughter's going to
That's
be
my
your
answer.
daughter's your biggest cheerleader, and as she grows older, she's going to be I'm sure she already is your best friend as she becomes, you know, a young lady. And listen, my kids are all in their 30s and every day and obviously out on their own, living in different places. And I'm like, don't click on links you don't know. Don't
Yeah, it's so
don't
important.
open
Online
pictures, you know,
safety.
for the boys. The boys. I'm like, don't open pictures from, you know, girls. Like
Yeah,
they're like,
online
Mom, we
safety
know.
tips are it's so important. Like if like you suspect you're being groomed, or if you suspect one of your friends is being groomed, like report it. Block that person, stop the communication, and report it, because there's a lot of that going on.
A lot of that. We always recommend call 911. Images, cybertipline.org is a wonderful resource. Brian, finish us up. What's next for you as investigative reporter? I think
That's a great question.
I of course say it's book 2, Vegas Concierge, but you know, I can't
He's
tell you
not going to stop fighting trafficking.
it's no, but isn't it when you really find
It's
a
hard to turn your
warrior,
back.
when you find a real warrior, they never want to stop. They never want to stop.
As far as I'm concerned, once I felt once I've been exposed to, the reality of this world, I couldn't in good conscience look away. And Angela's right. I don't know that I'll ever look away. I don't know what's next for me, professionally. My goal had been very, very focused on finishing this book and then promoting it. And so I'm, beginning to think about what's next for myself. And I don't know, but I would absolutely love the opportunity to continue to work on this issue and to continue. The partnership that I and Angela and Don had, it was incredibly special, and I would love to find a way to continue that as well.
Well, you're going to do it because I can feel the partnership is special. I'm not just saying that, like I can feel it, and that kind of passion really must be continued. So, I'm your biggest cheerleader. Both of you are tremendous warriors. Angela, you willing to go out there and use your life story, your trauma, being a mom, sharing, you're doing tremendous work. We are always here for you at the Warriors as we expand our relationship and everything you're doing. I'm your biggest advocate. Okay. I feel very lucky. I've never been trafficked. I've never been exploited. And I just really don't understand how people do that to other people. And then Brian, we need you to keep writing about it and exposing it. You write so well, and having people understand it. I don't care if they read 2 pages a day because it takes them a while to get through the book because they can't handle it. We need this awareness. I know we always say this. We need the awareness and the solutions. So I'm just so honored that I met both of you, and we're planning. I want the Warriors to know out there, we are in the initial stages. We're going to be doing a New York City event for you with Vegas Concierge, sex trafficking, hip hop, and corruption in America. Angela and Brian, a Q&A. We're putting it all together now. I want everybody across the universe to come to this, to learn, and to buy a book, frankly. But you know what? It truly is. It sounds very simplistic. It really is about the education piece and giving a few like easy resources, right? So people don't shut down on us, that they get so scared of all this. I am so looking forward to being with both of you shortly in New York. And I want to say that I'm just really thankful that you're both doing this work and your hearts are in the right place. And I wish both of you tremendous success and that you're stuck with me now, the Warrior. VegasConciergeBook.com. I'll remind everybody, I'm having more information in the body of this video so you can all take your time and read along and follow Angela, follow Brian, and most certainly, please purchase a copy of the book. And when you are done, you pass it on to your neighbor, family member, or friend, or you buy 2 copies and give one as a gift. We are all about books here at the Warriors. I want to thank both of you for taking the time to join me today. And let us speak again soon, Brian and Angela. It's been
Thanks
an
for
honor.
always giving us a voice. Thanks for your
Oh,
support.
I could talk to both of you for hours, but Brian's got a
No.
cough. Brian's got a cough, so I want him to go
Oh.
take some whatever you take there. And Angela,
Well,
love, love, love. Final words from both of you. What do you have to say?
we're just so grateful for your support and
Of course.
you're spreading the word about what we've been doing. Thank you so much, and a compliment to you as well. You are doing such important
you.
work and spreading the word in such an important manner, and
Thank you.
the world is a better place because of you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thanks for
Lynn.
making me crying, Brian. Thanks a lot. I'm tough, but now you made me feel bad. Angela, anything left to say?
If you haven't read it already, get your copy. Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Audibles, Vegas Concierge. It's not just a good read. It's, like Lynn said, an amazing educational tool. There's all the juicy stuff, and I'm proud of the project. So get it, Vegas Concierge.
There you go, you 2 warriors. Brian Joseph, author of Vegas Concierge, along with Angela Williams, subject matter expert, advocate, everything. Thank you both for joining us today. We will speak again soon.
Thank you, Lynn. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.